Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm going to talk through some things to do before the academic year finishes, or now that the academic year has finished, the things which will hopefully make going back to school easier and also just finish off the year nicely. The first thing is to go through all of your notes and properly organise these and declutter them. I always end up with so much paperwork, and especially old exam papers, which you're not going to realistically look at again, especially if you've just done your GCSEs or your A-levels, things like quiz sheets. Just go through your folders and get rid of anything which you really won't need again, which is single use. However, there is a caveat to this. Don't burn all of your notes. I know that that is a typical thing that people do when they finish their exams, but just in case, worst case scenario, you had to redo an exam or you're doing that subject next year, don't get rid of everything. Don't just get rid of your whole folder, actually go through it. And so leading on from that, number 2 is to save and file documents which are going to be useful. Or things that you just worked really hard on. So for example, I've got all of my creative writing from when I was in year 3 onwards. What I'd recommend doing, what I do, is put together one big lever arch folder of all of these important things. So at school I would go through all of my exercise books, all of my folders, and kind of tear out the pages which I wanted to keep, file them away in this lever arch folder, and then I have everything together in a really compact space, separated with dividers according to the subject. And you don't need a new one of these every year. It kind of depends on how much you want to save, but I have one for A-level, one for GCSE, and then one for everything before that. And number 3 is for any notes which will potentially be useful next year, to go through and digitally scan anything which is especially important or useful, research which might come in handy, anything which you might want to be able to easily access next year, because you don't want to be lugging in your old folder from last year. If you're going to university, you might not want to bring all of those notes with you, so I'd recommend going through and digitally scanning everything in. The Notes app on iPhone is brilliant. My friend Imogen told me about this and it was a complete game changer, honestly. I used it so much during my dissertation. But you can just go on the Notes app, press scan document, then you can scan your document and save it as a PDF file. And then you can just keep this digitally stored on your phone or on your laptop, and you can just look over it if you ever need to. Really, really worth doing, and it's a great way to make sure you don't lose anything. Number 4, make a to-do list of all of your summer homework and things that you need to do over the summer for school, so it's all in one place. It's really good to do this while it's on the tip of your tongue and while you've just been set it, because you might end up forgetting one of the tasks like a month into summer or when it comes to the end of summer. And this is something that I would put in my academic planner. So in the planner, for example, we've got this things to do this summer checklist. So if I were doing this, I would use this column to fill out all of my summer homework and have it here, and then I would use this column for number 5, make a summer bucket list of things that you're excited to do this summer, to make sure you kind of make the most of it and you properly switch off and you properly relax. Before the academic year is finished, you're always going to be more excited for summer and you're going to have all of these ideas of like what you want to do. I always find this when I'm studying and I'm thinking forward to like a break or a day off, and I'm much more inventive and excited about the things that I'm going to be able to do. It's a good idea to write your list of what you want to do over the summer before summer actually starts, I always find. So you could use one column for summer homework and one column for like fun things to do over the summer. Number 6, reflect on your academic year. You might want to do this through free journaling. Just sit there and write down without really thinking how the academic year went, and just encourage yourself to think about it and reflect on it. You could think about what you would have done differently, and that can help you set goals for the new year when you come to write them. So here is just a quick example if you're not really sure what you'd say. Next, you might want to note down your ideal morning and night routines for the next year. This is something you might want to do now, or you might want to do close to the beginning of school. Number 8, and really important, always do this at the end of the academic year, write a thank you card to your teachers. Our teachers do so much for us, and they put so much aside to help us and sacrifice so much for that, and they are there for us. And I genuinely think that teaching is the most admirable profession, and I admire my teachers and respect my teachers so much, and everything that they've done for me. And so I always like to say thank you at the end of the year, and I do that for my university professors too. Just write a short card saying, you know, thank you so much for like giving your time. Mention your favourite thing that you learned, or something that specific that you liked about their classes. Teachers won't know how much you've helped them or influenced them unless you tell them. I don't know, if I were a teacher, that's the kind of thing that I would really like to know and receive, and so I always make an effort to do that, and I'd really encourage you to do that this year if you don't usually. Number 9, properly unpack your school bag. Don't just leave it for the summer, and clean it out, because there will probably be like loose pencil shavings, maybe like old fruit wrappers and things in the bottom of your bag, and you don't want this when you come to pack your bag in September. You want it all to be like fresh and clean and ready to go. So at the end of the year, I would always wipe down my school bag, clean it out. May also spray it with some kind of home spray so it smells nice.
Extra.
Very extra. Next, and this leads on from that, throw away anything that you don't need. So go through your packages, see if any pens don't work. Next, check through your school emails and make sure there aren't any loose ends you need to tie up, any admin tasks, anything you need to reply to. Sometimes there can be like a straggling email which you never replied to, and so just make sure you've done all of that stuff. Number 11 is to write summaries of the most interesting and valuable and important things that you learned that year. So this is kind of separated into 2 parts. Number 1, actual academic things that you learned. What did you find particularly interesting? What did you really enjoy learning about? And I would recommend going through and like writing a few points for each of your subjects or modules. And then on the other side, equally important, what did you learn this year about yourself? Like, again, in a kind of reflective sense, maybe you do this through journaling. What are life lessons that you learned from this year? Also, just make sure your school uniform is washed. Quite self-explanatory, but like wash your PE kit, wash your school uniform, iron it, polish your school shoes, so it's all ready to go when you come back in September. You don't want a crinkled shirt on the first day that you forgot to iron. So just kind of have it all ready, and then it'll be ready for September. Obviously that's very school specific as well. Also, clean your school water bottle. It's a good time and a prompt to like make sure you give it a proper clean. One thing you might want to do, and again this really depends on what kind of person you are, like what you like, but this is something which can work quite well. Pack your school bag now, just provisionally, so it doesn't have to be like fully packed for the first day, but your school bag is a good vessel for like keeping everything together in one place, and it means that you won't lose something accidentally. Put your notebook in your pencil case, just anything that you might need specifically for school. File that away, put that away, and you know that everything's together, so that when it comes to September you're not like frantically looking around for things. And that really applies to university too. Like, have big boxes, like big plastic boxes or like cardboard boxes, then it's kind of ready to go when you want to head back. And then finally, set goals for the summer. Again, whilst you're feeling motivated and like excited for summer, what things do you want to accomplish? What are your goals? Is it self-care? Is it self-growth? Do you want to learn a new language? Be aware of these things, set them as intentions at the beginning of the summer. We kind of write our own narratives onto things a lot of the time. So what kind of summer do you want to have? You could create a Pinterest board, like what you want to manifest over the summer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope that you found it useful. If you have broken up for summer now, I hope that you have a wonderful summer and that you look after yourself and take this time off, take this time to rest. As I say, we have already launched the academic planner, just so if you want to start kind of preparing for school now, then you have the option to and you can start using it. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I hope that you have a productive week.